Hey everyone. Am I getting lucky with this weather or what? This is great. Okay, today I'm going to clean up my pistons, clean up my heads, and do a final check for damage, and then by the end of the day, order some parts. Right, I'm going to start with some engine cleaner in the pistons and some nice soft cloths. I want all the garbage out of the cylinders before I rotate. Once it's a bit cleaner, or get all the grit and stuff out, I'll then put the crank bolt back in and I'll start turning it to get the pistons up to the top and give them a proper clean. And I'll do my absolute best not to get junk in the water chambers, okay? No promises though, I'll do my best. Well, they came up pretty nice. I was just using a nylon brush. I didn't want to use anything too harsh. Didn't want to use like the wire brush or anything in there. And to be honest, I didn't think I would have to, and indeed I didn't. So let's have a look at them. Damage there. Slight dent. I don't see anything at the bottom. There's an E mark, whatever that's for. That one looks fine. Tell you what, I'll bring them all to the top, two at a time. So number 2 piston, which is that one. Valve hit there, valve hit there. Again, just a little indent. Right, let me get the rest up in sequence. And number 4, dent there. The other side looks okay, but I'll be checking all the valves anyway. Nothing major, just a little dent there. And number, what's that, 6. Looks perfect. So I'll do a recount and then it'll be on to the heads cleaning and valve jobs. So you probably gathered by now that I intend to repair this engine. Now that doesn't mean I'm ignoring other advice about getting a replacement engine, but when it comes down to it, even a second-hand engine is upwards of $3,000, and you're still getting a high mileage engine. If you get a low mileage engine, you can double that price, but you're getting an unknown engine. And even if I replaced like the timing chain on a second-hand engine, I have no idea of the history. I know the history of that engine. I've driven it really gently for nearly 7 years. I mean speed limit stuff, right? Never over revved it, always changed the oil. I just know the engine, so I think it's worth repairing. And so far I'm not seeing any serious damage on the pistons, certainly nothing on the bores. Obviously I'll be taking the oil pan off and getting rid of all the plastic shrapnel that went down there. And someone mentioned about the oil pump that had been getting gnawed away. So yeah, I need to check for that as well. I'm going to give it a shot, honestly. As I say, I'm not ignoring your advice. I would love to get a new engine, but can't afford it. That's what it boils down to. And the overall cost of this so far is about $600. Another couple of hundred for valves and gaskets and stuff. Well under budget if I can get it running. Okay, enough waffle. That's me explained. I appreciate all comments, but I can't follow everyone's advice on this occasion. Maybe I'll follow your advice in the next thing. I'll do my best. It's a juggling act, and I'm not a very good juggler. Okay, let's have a look at the heads. So here's me heads. Now I did take note of the pistons that were damaged, and they would be 2, 4 on this side, 5 and 8 on this side, and you can see 5 and 8, the intake valves are they're way bent. They're obvious. These ones are not all obvious. Obviously that one, the exhaust valve is up a bit, I can see that, but number 4 is not so obvious, so that's why it's important to check both the pistons and the valves. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put all the spark plugs in. Bear in mind there's 16 of them because Hemi, and then I will pour some, I'm going to use Varsol. I don't have any cans of gas lying about. Varsol's quite a thin liquid. It does actually say in the bottle you can use it for automotive degreasing and stuff, so I'm sure it'll be fine. And then I'll put them in the ones that are suspect, you know, just pour it right up, and if the level goes down, obviously I've got a valve problem. This is even before I clean them. I will be taking them all out and lapping them, grinding them down, make them nice. Right, here's something that I found interesting. When I was taking this head off, the heat shield just kind of fell off. Okay, now obviously that one's broken. You can see there where it's supposed to be connected. Look at these studs. These studs just magically came out of their holes, which is very peculiar because, I don't know if you can see, but the threads are absolutely fine. So how did they come out? I have a sneaking suspicion either they are broken or whoever replaced this exhaust maybe at one point broke them and didn't put them back in. But you know what, it wasn't making any exhaust noise, so I think I'll just leave that alone, because if I have to replace these I need to take the whole thing off, and I'll probably snap the rest of them. So I'm not giving myself any more work when I know that was not leaking exhaust fumes. Right, enough whiffle. Let's get spark plugs in, and we'll do the Varsol test. Wife ordered me to wear a mask for this inspection process. Fair enough. Right, you probably can't hear me, but I've only put fluid in the ones that were not obviously requiring attention, okay? And also that one over there, which did have damage in the piston, is not leaking fluid through, which is kind of weird. I will replace them anyway, I just wanted to see what would happen. So let me have a closer look. What's that? Number 1 is good. 2, 3 is good. 4 looks good, but I don't know why that shouldn't be good. 5, 6 is good. 7 is good. And 8 is not. Don't know if you caught that. But yeah, the hold on. I hate wearing a mask. I mean, I hate wearing that sort of mask. Right. So yeah, that's pretty much what I expected, but I'm kind of confused as to why the fourth cylinder is not allowing fluid through the valves when there was damage on the piston. But hey, I'll find out more when I take the valves out, which will be the next step. So my DIY valve spring compressor isn't going to work for this. Okay, there's not enough distance there, and I can't be bothered making a new one. Now, I tried calling Canadian Tire loan a tool. They were like, loan a what? They didn't have a clue. They didn't know what I was talking about. So Canadian Tire was useless. I tried calling Part Source, I tried calling Home Depot, everyone. No one's got one. Half of them don't even know what I'm talking about. Couldn't even buy one. So I've had to order one in Amazon. I've ordered one of those the big sort of giant U-clamp things with the lever thing. But it's not going to get here till Wednesday. So I guess we can just carry on with some cleaning. As much as I can there. Clean the heads so that when I put clean around the pistons so that when I put the heads on I'm not dragging dirt in. So I'll get the engine as clean as possible, get that as clean as possible, and I'll see you in a minute. So I went ahead and ordered some parts. Sue me. Right, I've been talking to my friend Ted, and he said, make sure you check all your lifters, right? Now, I've been finding it harder and harder to get information on how you dismantle stuff, okay? I know it sounds really simple, but I don't actually know how to get the lifters out. You've got this plastic bracket that holds them all in place, and it's held in with a little 8mm bolt, which I believe is kind of held in place so you don't drop it into the engine, because generally you wouldn't be going this far into it just to replace this. So you undo that, the whole bracket comes out, and then with a bit of luck the lifters are actually loose and slide in and out of their positions, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take them out one by one and check the needle bearings on the ends. So number one, okay, and also I noticed that this flat section here should be pointing up the way, so I'll make sure I don't rotate that just in case it matters. You know how metal things like to find their groove. So there's your little roller bearing, which is making contact with your camshaft. So I'm checking for any dents or any bending on that when I roll it. So that one's good. I'll put it back in. But what I'll do is I'm not going to put the bracket back in, because what I want to do is add a squirt of oil back into all of these. So what I'll do is I'll go and get my little oil can, and I'll come back and I'll do that. I'll take them out, I'll check them, if they're good, squirt them, put them back in. So that went surprisingly well. Didn't find any damage in the rollers. I gave them a little twiddle and they're moving smoothly. No play in the rolly bits. So put them all back in. Just to recap there, remember I said there was a flat section at the top of the lifters. There's also a flat section at the bottom of the lifters, and that is to align them with that metal bracket holder thing. Okay, so they can only go in one way. Well, they can go in like 180 degrees, but I don't think it makes a difference. As long as you get that plastic holder onto the square tabs top and bottom, they should meet up with the cam without any issue. Right, what am I doing next? I really should do a job that I've been putting off for days and days, which is getting the sump down and cleaning it out. But it's got to be done. Right, let's get dirty. Once I finish my coffee. So sump removal on these trucks is a nightmare. So I didn't remove it. But I did manage to get all the bolts out and drop it down enough to get access inside. So I used my periscope. What do you call it again? Endoscope? Boroscope. It's not a borescope. It's not for bores. It's a boroscope. Just saying. Anyway, I found my missing bolt from my, not the tensioner, the other side. And I found this big spring. Isn't that nice? And that. But the sump itself is fairly clear of shrapnel, so I spent a couple of hours digging around. So, next I could actually start putting my timing chain on. I've loosened this off, it just slides in and out. So I've got a new one of them to go on, then the timing chain, tensioner, and then pump. And because I've lowered the pan, I can now get that bolt back up and get my pickup tube bolted up without cursing. I mean, there'll be a wee bit of cursing. Right, so time to dig out my new timing chain kit. So I may as well fit the timing chain, and then tomorrow morning I can get the sump back up. So fairly straightforward apparently. Got to find a little dot, which is kind of awkward. Where's my cloth? Find a little dot in the cam sprocket, and that should be at 12 o'clock. If I can find it. I can't find my dot. Well, that took forever to find. Partly because I was looking for a dot, and it is in fact a little line. See it down there. At least I hope that's it. I'll put you back up on the tripod, and then I need to get this cylinder up to top dead center with the timing mark on the new cog. Oh, I need to breathe in so you can see. And the timing mark on this, well, the new one will be at 6 o'clock. Even harder to see, no doubt, but we'll get there. So, off with the old. Just check it against this one. Looks the same to me. On with the new. Only goes on one way because it's got a keyway. I'll give that a bit of a wipe, I guess. You know what? I'm going to give it a little squirty of oil. I mean, that's not going to be rotating on the shaft, but if I ever have to take it off, it would be nice if it didn't seize on me. Actually, before I put it on, let's have a look for the mark. Oh, you know what? I should really get a silver pen or something. Nothing like being prepared, and I am nothing like being prepared. Okay, I'm back. Silver pen, I even checked to make sure it worked. So I'm going to mark up here first. Then I'll mark on this. Don't worry, it's just a torch. Oh yeah, I'm going to need that torch. Great. I'll mark this little mark. Mark the mark. Right, let's proceed. So this goes on there. Okay, I'm going to put the bolt back in temporarily. Now I'm using lots of washers because I don't want this to ground out on the inside of the shaft. That would be disastrous. And then I will rotate this round to top dead centre, piston number 1. that piston's up at the top, but if this mark is not down at 6 o'clock, then I need to rotate it again. And of course, I can't see. I'm going to have to climb underneath to see. This is just awesome fun. So the mark is at 6 o'clock, but I've got a feeling the piston is not at the top. Oh, it is. Right, we're good. That one's at 6. That one's at 12. 12-ish. It's a bit 12 there. So the chain is pretty cool actually. So we have marks on the chain, which is nice. On the other side maybe. Okay, so those two notches straddle 12 o'clock on the cam, and then the single notch at the bottom, well, when I say notch, the mark, that should go at the 6 o'clock mark on the cog with your timing sensor. I'm getting tired. Your timing tensioner on the left and the guide on the right. Let me throw this together and I'll be back in a minute. Right, sneaky plan. So I've got the top mark between the two and the bottom one. If I can reach down. Single one at 6 o'clock, and obviously I've got a cable tie around it just to stop it jumping the teeth. So now I can get my tensioner guide on. Okay, guide goes that way. Now the top bolt on this one is the one that came out, so this time I'm putting a spring washer on it. I'm not going to do these mega tight for now. I'll put the other one on first. Right, I'm going to nip out and get my cutters back in a sec. Oh, so tired. Too much exercise. Right, you can go. Now, before I take my pin out, I'll just double check the marks are in the right place. And then if they're in the right place, I'll tighten these up properly. And then release the grenade pin. That one's good. Is that one good? I can't see from up here. I guess I'm doing a bit of a rewind. Right, marks are good. I shall tighten these 10 mils. My torque setting is just before they break. Right, let's pull the pin. We have tension, and now I will rotate it a few times, but not before I squidge it full of oil. Squirt, squirt, squirt. I don't want a dry chain when I fire it up, so I want this nice and lubricated. Right, where's my big ratchet? No, seriously, where are you? Don't you dare be back in the garage. Oh, you are. Oh, you. Oh, you. I'm so done with this. Oh, it's on the ground in front of the truck. Right. I should open a personal fitness channel. Right. I'm going to give the pistons a wipe as they go up and down, just because there has been a bit of dirt creeping into the cylinders. It would be a bit annoying to get them all scored at this stage, right? Right, this is a pointless exercise because the ratio of chain links to different cog sizes would mean it could take me 2 years to get back to the notches, the marks lining up. So let's just see if, when that is at 12 o'clock, the bottom one should be at 6 o'clock. Of course it's too dark now. Right, how did that look? Okay, that's enough of that nonsense for today. I know it still looks bright, but is this phone is really smart and it looks brighter than it is. It's pretty dark in there. So I'm going to stop. I'll double check that video and make sure that those marks are right, but I did everything by the book. Okay, tomorrow I'll be getting the sump back up. Well, I'll get the oil pump back on and then get the sump back up, and that's the underside pretty much done, other than getting the exhausts back on. But tomorrow my valve spring compressor should arrive, so I'll be working on the valves next. Okay folks, thanks for watching. More news tomorrow. Take care everyone. Bye bye.